I'd like to make a quick note that this home and garden tour marks 18 years that we have been on YouTube. Thank you so much for following New England Fine Living and visiting our homes and the businesses that I have ran and still run, and there are some more exciting things coming our way in the following year. I hope you enjoyed this home and garden tour video. Well, I really thought today was going to be a question answer. We had the best intentions to do so. We even were trying to think of ideas of where we'd film, but when we started to try to figure it out, we realized there was just no way that would be possible. Between the activity here at the house and the noise, it has been quite a challenge. Ben even went to my office today to try to get some work done. It's been quite loud, but that means progress. And I thought instead today I would do a little house tour, and it will be some inside and outside, the good, the bad, the ugly. And you'll see that I'm also starting to set up for a gathering tomorrow. Ben's having about, I think, 20 men or so coming tomorrow for the Scotch and cigar event they do. They go to each member's house once a month, and it's our turn. We haven't done it for 2 years. So I've been setting up and cleaning for that. And when I say cleaning, it is kind of a move things around, shuffle things, put things in closets, dusting, sweeping, vacuuming, because the house is dusty. The house has things all over the place from the other 4 rooms that are being worked on. So what is humbling about it, it made me realize it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm cleaning up, I'm getting things ready. They're going to be eating, they're going to be chatting, they're going to have fun. And that's all that matters. So the cleaning up is more so for me because I need a little bit of a brain break of how messy it's been, and it does feel a lot better. So what I'm going to show you is a few of the rooms all cleaned up. And then if I have time, I'll also try to fit in just a little bit of the setup for the gathering, but it's nothing elaborate, and you've seen it 2 years ago. And this year's a lot less than what I did the first year. So anyways, I hope you enjoy this video, and we hope to do the question answer next week, but next week sounds like it's going to be just as busy. Actually, for the next few weeks, we have a lot of things happening, even since last week. So many changes, and I can't wait to show you. I hope you enjoy. Nestled in the countryside of New England, Sugarwood, a charming colonial cottage farmhouse dared us to renovate her, decorate her in my Grand Union style, and give her back a barn that she lost in the 1938 hurricane. That was 3 years ago. We took her up on that challenge. You will see that I brought back the hutch, and that was taken out of the kitchen during the remodel. And on that hutch, there's a woman in disguise. Do you recognize her? Yes, it's Queen Bess, and she is all ready for Halloween, but she's ready now, and there is more information below. To pay homage to the soapstone quarry that is just a couple miles away, I ended up putting in quartz that looks like soapstone, and I couldn't be happier. Willow has been keeping an eye on the house with all of the contractors coming and going, and she is doing her self-appointed job very well. Now, during this home tour and garden tour, you're going to see some messes, some of my doom piles, my doom boxes, vacuums out, but I'm getting ready, like I mentioned earlier, for a gathering, and the house has been quite upside down since February, and this gathering gave me a wonderful reason and opportunity to finally put it together enough to host some guests. Here is said vacuum. And in a while, I think I'm going to be including how I cleaned those windows finally. You're going to see in a moment, I have some ink wells that I put under a very large cloche. And these are ink wells that I have dug up at my childhood home and here at Sugarwood. Except for one that's hidden in the back. I got that at a thrift store. But something's missing. And when I was walking around the house, I found this little picture of John Alden that I got, and in the background there is an inkwell with a feather, and that's exactly what I was looking for. A little extra height, a little pop of color, and it ties in perfectly. I have some binoculars and a magnifying glass here set aside so that if we want to spy something outside or go look at something, we know where to go. But I spy some painting prep being done. Heading into the tavern, for the first time we have a ceiling back since February. If you're new to the channel, we had major ice dam damage that had water in 4 of our rooms, and this is the first time I'm actually seeing the cabinets uncovered, and there's actually some Christmas decorations there. They got sealed in from the cardboard. And I was looking for this duster a while ago. I was going to start dusting there and got maybe distracted. That's what I do. Now in a moment you're going to see some frames leaning against the wall. I was hoping they would fit an oil painting that I finally picked up after hemming and hawing for a couple years. And we finally adopted who we are now going to call Captain Caleb Story, a pretend adopted grandfather. But what I wanted to also say was your viewership and your support purchasing products such as our Sugarwood 1790 products, the things we have online, have allowed me to purchase things like this, and you are greatly helping with the renovation of Sugarwood, whether you know it or not. I'm even looking at getting a small tractor with the help of YouTube. Now, I'm trying Caleb here in the kitchen. I know a lot of you don't like that idea because you've already mentioned it. For some reason you knew I was going to try him here, and he was part of the plan a while ago. He just needs a bigger frame, but I'm not sure yet, so jury's still out. He and Queen Bess might move around here. And in the butler's pantry, I cleaned this up, and I'm going to be setting up the tavern, all the drinks in here for the party, because the tavern really doesn't have any lights in it yet. It's not ready, and I think it will be fun having everything here right next to the kitchen. I'm showing the oil painting because I've had so many people worried it would get ruined there. 2 years later, it's fine, and I'm glad to say that it's fine. Now here in the butler's pantry, I'll slowly be moving out some of the ironstone. I have some other places for it now, and I'll be bringing in more of my canisters of herbs that I'll be drying, things to use for baking, and make the shelves functional and beautiful. So it will be a little bit of both. I have some herbs starting to dry in the window there. That's some apple mint. Now here we are in the living room. We lovingly call it the green room for obvious reasons. This used to be a master bedroom at one point,
And I'm just taking down fabric that I've had up there for so long. I know I'm not going to use it because of the texture. I still have a broken window I need to replace. It's just taking the time to take it out and do so. So here's take two. Let's start over again. No more fabric, but there's still a broken window. And I've just cleaned this up a bit, and anybody who wants to come sit in the room, it's ready. I have coasters out. I still have my coffee there, or I'm sorry, I still have my tea there from early, and there's some of my doom boxes and doom baskets. It's a lot of my work things that were on tables, and I don't have an office to put them in here at home right now, so that's where they go. And let's check the weather. Oh, look, it's raining again. Well, even though there'll be some cigars here at the gathering, they're going to be on the screen porch, not in the house. Now, at the time of this particular walkthrough for going through the library, which used to be the second kitchen of our house, it was a summer kitchen, I made the bed. This is the bedroom that my stepdaughter's been staying in while hers is getting renovated. She's living out of a suitcase. I have chandeliers hanging out here now, and I believe my stepson is staying overnight after the gathering, so that's all ready. And let's check out the upstairs. Now, I came up here for the first time in a week. I hadn't seen where they put the sheetrock, so I thought I would show you what's been going on. There's not a huge amount of difference up here other than they're going to start putting the rock wool up in part of the bathroom. We have a tile company coming by to look at the tiling job. Tile's been ordered. And then in Emma's bedroom, the sheetrock was brought in through a window because it would not fit up the stairs, those steep little stairs. And we had blown in insulation done. And for those wondering, they believe they fixed what was causing the leaks, and we have what they call a cold roof, but instead of doing it outside, they did it inside, so there's actually an air gap, and it's hard to explain, but maybe we'll go into that at some point. And this is partially cleaned up on the porch. There was a lot of contractor tools here, and in a while I ended up taking everything out of the porch except for the chairs, because this is where the guys will be smoking their cigars if it's still raining out. So I wanted to give them room, and I also wanted to get my coats out of there to not soak up the smell. You know what I mean. During the week, I've also been going around a house with a product to clean glass and windows that a kindred spirit recommended. Now, I bought this product a year ago maybe, and I just found the package under the sink. And it's a two-part process, and by two-part I mean it's only 2 cloths and water, and I have been so impressed. I will leave the information below, but when I looked at the package, I was shocked to see that the company is just a few towns away from me. So I bought it on Amazon, and it's a local company, which I think is kind of cool. So I'm going to go around and do the library. I've done the kitchen, and I was just doing the bathroom, and then I'm going to take you outside. Now I'm just going to walk around the house and show you all of the areas that our painter, who is also doing some work on it, some carpentry work, replacing anything that had any type of damage or rot. Sugarwood is being pampered. This is her best spa appointment ever. Don't miss our plastic owl overseeing everything. I can't believe he's still there. He was put there temporarily when we were trying to scoot away the blue jays and then also the porcupine. I don't think it worked. But anyways, I'm going to take you now into a little back section. I haven't shown this a lot, but I've shown it a few times. And once they're done, once the painters are done, once the contractors are done, this is going to have all new pea stone brought in. I'll be reshaping the boxwoods, and this is going to be, I have a secret garden, and this will be the secret garden.
We are taking advantage of the break in the weather right now. Painters, or at least their prep painters, are coming tomorrow, Sunday of all times, if the weather holds off. And they asked us to get all plants off the building or to cut plants. I ended up putting a trellis to hold it away from the building. They asked for about 1 foot. And I am going to be cutting down the lilacs. And I'm going to bring them down shorter because they did grow too much. And this is the perfect time to trim lilacs, just after they've bloomed. So I still have some at the top that have got the flowers. I have a little glass of water out here, and I'm going to put some of those into my water, and then I can bring them inside. But I do want to bring these down so that they are a little bit at a lower height, because they set off a lot of our motion detectors, and I don't want them to get too tall and leggy in the future. Those are the clouds from the rain we just had, but I have some greenery I'm putting in the driveway. I can't bring the gator in the backyard like I'm used to, so I'm going to put everything out here, and then I'll use the new driveway to bring the gator to the front yard. So that's what I'm doing right now. I have a lot of trimming. So this one's pretty good. I need to get towards the top there and trim some of those, and then it will be nice and healthy for next year. This tree has gone cray-cray, and I am going to trim it a lot off of the back, and then I will work slowly on this side. I was going to do it in the early spring before it got foliage. I didn't. My fault. But anyways, I'll take care of this so that it's not against the building, and they'll be scraping it, prepping it, priming it, and doing all of that stuff. From this angle, this is actually too funny. This tree was tiny, and my goal is to bring it down to a very small height, but I missed my window of opportunity. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to put the camera down and get to work. What are you doing? You helping me trim this tree? I'll leave you shade, don't worry.
I'm just giving my clippers a quick sharpening, and I'm going in with clippers versus using a trimmer. I just want to make sure that there are no bird's nests that I'm going to be intruding upon. I used the clippers on the lilacs, but then I realized I can see if there were nests or not, so I ended up getting out my pole trimmer, and then in a moment I even bring out my mini chainsaw.
I filled my glass with the lilacs, so now I have a bucket that I'm going to trim the tops of those. I'll have lilacs in the house for a few days, and I am liking the new haircut these got. I'm going to cut that one to give all the other little ones a chance, And that one's kind of out of place, and I want this to get nice and full. And what I just did is going to allow more sun to get to some of those inner small branches. So this lilac tree is thanking me right now. I wish I did a little bit more of a before, but it's in past videos or even in the distance. But what I'm doing today, today's Memorial Day, and actually the painters, the crew that's doing part of the cleanup and prep showed up yesterday and today. So they're rocking and rolling, getting ready to go. And I think we're gonna have a little cookout later and they will be invited. But anyways, I'm going to be working in this area today. I'm cleaning up from a lot of debris from when trees were taken down. There's still a lot that are going to come down in the future, but I'm done putting this off. I've been wanting to work on this for a couple years now. This is an old foundation, we believe, as one of the sugar shacks. Once again, I keep referring to things I'm reading about the home at our historic society. There's a whole file on our property, and it talks about the foundation of the old sugar shack. So I'm going to safely assume that's what this is, with this birch tree growing out of it. But anyways, I'm going to be cleaning up around it. And we have the beautiful stuff here from some of the contractors. But it's going to be a fun backdrop with the old barn here. And I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to move some rocks around. And then I'm going to clean out inside. I have some plants that the rain really took over and I need to get them into the ground. So I'm going to be working on this. I'm going to clean this out, and I was going to have just a little soil brought in, but this might be deep enough that I won't need it, and some of the taller plants can go near the back. Now I have used the metal detector here, and all I'm finding is just very little junk. I am finding some pottery, but I have dug this enough that I'm feeling okay with putting some plants in here. I'm going to tuck some around the front and just make this a little bit of a spot that I can come and visit. I might even make a little plaque and say what this was, maybe on the tree. I'm not sure. I wish there was a way of fixing the old siding here. Keep mentioning this, but I know I have a lot of newer followers. The boards on this shed were from the 1800s barn that came down in a hurricane in the 1938, I believe it is. I keep saying it, I keep forgetting. But I wish there was a way of saving that. Anywho, back to this. So I'm going to be cleaning this up today. And I have made the conscious decision to not film a lot of what I'm doing for the reason that it stops my flow. You know, moving the cameras and moving things about. I just want to live in the moment and really enjoy my time here working on the property, but you can be sure you'll see some of the stages in between. It seems to go without fail of filming our yard without some Fredericks that have passed their prime in all different colors, and we have Peter Rabbit over here. Every time. She doesn't pick up her toys. I even put a basket out for her one day. Well, kindred spirits, I really thought today was going to be a question answer. But truth be told, we didn't have the time and we didn't have the ability. But I'm hoping that for now, I'm going to show you what I've done the past few days, because we have been unable to pretty much do anything inside our home due to painters being here scraping, sanding with orbital sanders and removing clapboards. It's been crazy. They had a crew here of 5 or 6 yesterday. They're going to have a lot more here, I think, today. And then we had a landscaper here working on, I'm going to raise this up, but we'll get closer, bringing in some soil and then seed and some straw over where we had all the dirt dug up for the electric. But I want to show you what I've done. Oh, and we've had some other contractors here too. Like we have ceilings in the tavern and the bathroom now, and he's been doing the mudding and the whole works. The reason I did a lot outside is because there was just so much going inside, I just couldn't do it. It was actually jarring. But I want to show you what I've done over here. Now, we had a gate here. We had to take it out so I could fit the gator in and out to do some work. And this might be rejiggered at one point. But I love being able to have the gator fit inside the yard. It has helped me with so many of these projects. But one being a project that's going to be happening, and I'll show you what I did over here in a moment. But I think today they are going to be coming in here and scraping this a little bit, putting down their weed blocker, the industrial landscaping weed blocker that they used on the road actually, or the driveway. And then they're going to come in and flatten it a bit and put some stone, because there was stone here before, but it got taken over, as you can see, by weeds. And many of us know that you put this weed blocker down, weeds will happen. Well, this is a heavy duty one and it should go a long time. But what I want to show you over here that I've done, I think I'm going to kind of hold this up so you don't see what I've done yet. Well, okay, I'll turn here. So this box is where the raspberry and blackberry bushes were. And I never got to get fruit from them. We always had porcupines taking the fruit. I think we've had bear down here. We've had squirrels, chipmunks, you name it. And I just didn't like those bigger critters here by the house anyways. So I spent a good part of an afternoon digging them up, and I put corn stalks in. And the reason I'm not saying corn is because I don't know if I'll ever have corn here. I'm going to put a little type of fence, but my forward thinking is this is going to be corn stalks for Halloween. So this is hopefully food, but to make myself feel better, at least it will be decoration for the house if it grows. So I went through this kind of willy-nilly, just made some beds for it, and I still have to bring in some straw or something. So I did that this week, and then I have been a busy beaver. Now, this area was overgrown with weeds. There was a tarp under part of this. The tarp actually kept weeds down from the previous owner, and I liked the concept. So what I did, and from like 5:30 in the morning until I don't know how long, and I worked on this for 2 days, I shoveled and brought in pea stone from across the yard yesterday, and then there was a pile here that I kind of set out, and I started working on fixing this garden again. These 2 urns are temporary here, and I just had to move everything away from the house so that the painters could work on it. And I realized I'm in my pajamas right now and my garden clogs, and I don't know how long I have until people start showing up, so I might be filming this a little bit later at a different time of day if I have the time.
But these are going to be painted and put back towards the house, but I kind of like them out here. I could see some color out here. What I'm lacking in these gardens right now are color, but the hydrangeas will be opening at one point. So I did this, and this was a labor of love, a lot of work. And down the road, I'll be edging this probably with cobblestone or something. And I feel like I could answer so many questions that came across the question answer section last week, but I'm going to hold off because there were some really great questions, and maybe I'll do that as a midweek video. But I'm getting this up right now so that we have a moment together to chat, and I just didn't want to go without having a Sunday video for you. So this is one of those moments that my ADHD took over, my hyper-focusing took over, and I didn't stop until I got this far. And it was hours and hours and hours, and my body was feeling it, but I pushed through because you know my saying, I will until I can't. And last night at a point, I was walking around shuffling because my back hurt so much. I got to the point I can't. So that was done. Over here, and I did take some videos of pre and post and where I'm going at, so I'm going to show you that. We have a stump that they're going to bring a grinder in. When we first moved here, there were a lot of tall pines overshadowing this whole area. We had about 15 pines. I look at old videos, and it's hard to believe that this whole area was just also part of the forest. Everything was just looming pines that were dangerous for the buildings. So here's the side of the garage they're working on. Used to be red. Oh, Willow just came out. Here she comes. Here she comes. She's following my scent. She's following Mama's scent. There they are. It's okay, you're not on film. Ben's in his bathrobe. I'm in my pajamas. We could probably do the question answer now because we're quiet until they show up. But anyway, hello. My mouth isn't even working yet. So let me show you what I did here. This is the old foundation for a sugar shack. And I had already known I wanted to do this for the years we've been here, just fixing it, cleaning it, replacing some stones. So I put on my muscles and I came out here for another day, and I was moving rocks. I was raking, clearing things up. They did bring in seed and soil up here also. This was all tree roots and growing bushes. I have no idea what's going to happen here, but it's a start. I can see this more as bark mulch. But I thought I was being a smarty pants, and I was saying to myself, I'm going to make this a garden. And I got some shade plants for it, and I was digging in here, and I realized I'm going to do metal detecting even more so. So I'm going to, hopefully, I think I took a video. I was in here digging, and I was coming across a lot of debris that is stuff that I was finding in other parts of the yard. So it made me realize, oh, this was already filled in with soil from other parts of the yard. Old nails, pieces of teacups, dishes, you name it, was in here. Well, with my trowel, I was a-digging, and I dug up a trowel. I found somebody else's garden tool in the garden that I'm going to be making a garden. So I wasn't the first. Somebody has been here before me with making a garden. But what I did here is all these rocks had kind of fallen in on themselves, and I made it a double wall like it used to be. And the soil has not been touched. This was all here. My hopes is to bring some plants in, but I don't want to hide everything that shows it's a wall. So I think I'm going to paint some pots. I have a couple different colors of periwinkle paint, and I might do some fun color pots up here. And in the same time, I'm going to make this kind of a fairy type area. Like I'll probably put a fairy house in there and just make this a spot that's a little more whimsical. And I don't know how it will look, but I have some pots that I'm going to paint. I'll show you the paint later, maybe in this video or in another video. I showed it last year. I just never got to use it. So that is what I've been doing up here. And this was all raked to the point where I could rake it. And then for exercise, I pushed my little wheelbarrow up here. We finally made a spot for our compost pile. I'm trying not to do so many twigs and sticks up here. But I ended up making a section for dumping grass and clippings and small raking things. And then these larger piles of wood, will chip them up some point and put this on the path. But we created an area right in here for dumping. And this was in a video, I never got it posted. I can actually see and tell that this used to be a little cut through of a road going up to another path we made. But that's beside the point. It's no longer a road or a driveway. It is now going to be where we're going to be putting things, and that will be a future compost pile for soil up here. Now, while I'm in my jammies, it's funny, Ben's in his bathrobe, I'm in my pajamas, like I said. We're expecting people to show up, who knows, anywhere from 10 minutes to a couple hours. My little garden I found that from a previous owner is all grown in with ferns right now. And I'm just going to probably take my little weed whacker to open up the beginning of this path again. But yes, this was one area I wanted to get cleaned up because when I was sitting at the table, I was looking up here, envisioning what I wanted to get done. I still need to move this pile of wood. Ben will move the pine. He still has to chop that. We'll use it in our fire pit. And then that will expose the wall. That is part of that. I'm rambling, I know. I'm trying to walk around before people show up.
I waved the white flag and asked for more pea stone to be dumped versus my shoveling it and bringing it over by buckets, and then I did some gaitered travels. So while he was bringing pea stone for this area, I was lucky enough that they dumped some where I'm going to be now spreading more. But this is back to where it was when we first bought the property, but a lot thicker. And I was tempted to move this pile and start raking it, and some of it's going to go in the garden box area. But Ben and I are going out to dinner. But before we left, Ben was checking out for the first time the start of the framing for the foundation. They're going to be putting in some rebar next week, and I believe it's June 10th that the concrete will be delivered. And this is for the 32 by 40 barn that we are building for those who haven't been following along. And hopefully it will be something Sugarwood will look forward to having back on her property. At this point, it's very early Saturday morning. And by early, I mean 3 a.m. And part of that was in error because when I woke up, I thought it said 4. And I do sometimes get up at 4 and start my day. But I was up and I had plenty of hours of sleep. I went to bed early because I was exhausted. I thought I'd have some herbal tea. And I did some work. And I'm going to start my day and get the rest of the prep done for my husband's gathering tonight with his friends. And then I'm going out to dinner with my friend Carla. Well, I kept myself busy for the day and I did not get to videotape anything, and guests arrived, but I do have a message from my stepson that I'd love to share.
Okay, so my stepson is here, and I'm going to ask you to say what you just said about our vanilla because I didn't ask.
I am not a person who typically appreciates finer food-related things or, anything like that. I don't know if I've grown up never having real vanilla or what the deal is, but once you start having desserts that are made with that sugarwood vanilla, it will change you. You will never be able to appreciate any other dessert. It is different. Not a person who typically appreciates like small food differences.
And a shout out to his girlfriend who's been baking.
I don't use it. My girlfriend does.
All right, you heard it here. And he's not the only one to say that. So I just thought I would love to share it. Now we're just waiting for a delivery of asparagus to show up, and we're going to start prepping dinner for tonight.
Well, the house filled up quickly, so Carla and I headed over to the Hancock Inn, where we had reservations in the Hunt Bar and Scullery room, and we had cocktails and some appetizers, and one of their appetizers is called a mini mac. It's a small double patty cheeseburger, so good. And then we had even appetizers with some chips there and creme fraiche and caviar and chive. It was definitely an experience, and we had such fun conversation. And it was nice not being in a very loud house with men smoking cigars, I have to be honest. Well, kindred spirits, I want to thank you for joining me during my 18-year celebration here on YouTube by allowing me to share parts of our home and our garden. And as we've been doing together for many, many years, I'm going to keep sharing the journey of New England, home, lifestyle, recipes, you name it. And once again, I appreciate you and thank you for joining me today. If you're not already a subscriber, please do so. Please give me a thumbs up if you liked this video and share it with your friends, because we have an amazing community of kindred spirits and we'd like to welcome you to that. Bye now.